Democratic candidate Andrew Yang has been able to hang in there longer than some governors and senators who have already dropped out. And an analysis of his supporters found that they're overwhelmingly young men. Okay. So is the Yang Gang this election? No, this election's Bernie Bros? No, this is the Yang Gang. The Yang Gang. Hey, no.
Yang has about 2% more than I do, okay? The guy is real, I'm sorry to say.
He has more than Klobuchar, Booker, and Steyer.
I like him a lot, but I don't see anything happening there. He's coming on the show. We'll ask him how he's doing, but...
He's doing fine. He hasn't had to drop out.
Yeah.
I know, but Biden is kicking all their butts pretty much.
Well, he may be, but, you know, the great thing about this is there are great ideas in all of these folks. Yeah. Everybody's got some great stuff to say, and so that we can suck it all together.
He has this effervescence to him, the way he campaigns. The thing that I like most about him is he looks like he's the only person that's genuinely having a really great time in politics. And I think that's significant right now, given that everybody is miserable on that stage except for him. And he gives very candid answers. And by the way, his base of support is very young. It's 18 to 29 years old, where he has 9%. And although older people tend to vote in higher numbers, it's still significant when you're talking about the new generation coming up. And I do think when you're talking about the whiteout or the fact there are no minorities left on the stage, obviously he's still standing very strong.
Well, I think his story is the best representation of America and democracy, because his dad grew up in China on a peanut farm where he said he slept with no floor under him. And now his son is in the next debate, as close as we are to the caucus and the primaries. And to your point, Megan, when you see him, he represents the opposite qualities of what we see right now in the White House. He's self-deprecating, he's funny. I think he's relatable to young people because he's talking about ideas that may not go anywhere, that maybe people aren't talking about now, but they will probably start talking about more because
talk about getting money back and saying to Amazon and all those big companies, hey, you need to come up with, you need to include us in this big party y'all having.
I like his,
without us.
I like the dividend. You know, I think that's fine, but I don't know. I always feel like people are sort of trying to make Andrew Yang a thing. And I just don't think he's a thing. I mean, if he's, you know, we always say that you need the African-American vote to become the Democratic nominee. I mean, he's tied at 3% with Mayor Pete Buttigieg. He's tied with Mayor Bloomberg, who all have a lot of problems with the African-American community. He can't get that vote.
We don't know what he can't. No, don't say that. We don't know. We don't know because all we're hearing is what it isn't. He's still there. That's what is.
But this is where he's at now.
From a media blackout. He is not getting, we've talked about this many times on the show, that given where he is ranking and polling nationally, he should be getting the same amount of press as other candidates that are doing on the same level, and he has not. So with exposure has come, and again, he is still my dark horse VP pick. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again because he represents everything that the old guard is not. And the conversations we're having about automation in the United States of America and auto workers being put out of place in places like McDonald's, where you're just going to put in numbers and then your food's going to come out, that conversation is only being done on a debate stage because of this man. And I respect that as well.
You know,
don't underplay
I don't understand why these people who are running don't do what Trump did. He was on the phone more than a teenage girl, if you recall. He was calling Trump. He was calling every show on the phone, and they would put him through, and he'd spew his lies and his venom, and he got very popular.
Remember, this was one of the first places that made him legitimate.
Which?
ABC.
Oh, ABC.
Trump,
You know, and so that very first, but as a candidate, because they did a whole interview with him, and then other people followed through. One could ask the question, is it because he is a minority that he's not getting the attention
Well, he's certainly creating a ton of excitement among his group of people.
I think on social media, a lot of people are, you know, you've got the Yang Gang, and he has rallies.
Something right.
But is he going to really be the nominee for
Cory
president?
Booker, I don't think the nominee, I think VP dark horse, like I said, but I think if you're Cory Booker or Amy Klobuchar, you're sitting senators and you're polling beneath him, something about your message isn't resonating in the same way. And I just like grassroots candidates who are changing narratives, changing conversations, and I wish the media would give him more credit than he has been given.
Well, let's all say,
which we do on this show well.
We say it ain't over till it's over. We don't know who's who, and I'm not counting anybody out until they're out.
Yeah.
Because the idea that we say this isn't going to work, that's what everybody else does. We say anything can happen. We know. We had a black president. Nobody thought that was going to happen before we had a woman. Okay? Nobody. I'm telling you, never forget my mother saying, I never thought ever. Because they say, oh, you could be president, but you never really thought you could be president, and then there he was. So anything can happen in this country.
But remember, Whoopi, that black men got the vote before women did.
Yes, that's always the case.
Yeah.
That's always the
Men.
case.
They're men.
They are men. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
We like men. Don't get us wrong. But y'all, you know, go out in front of stuff.
Are all y'all paying attention? Automation gonna sweep the nation unless we get him in. Andrew Yang, 2020 freedom dividend. Climate change is real again. Science rules. Teachers bringing home some bread. Medicare for every citizen. Andrew Yang, 2020 freedom dividend.